Hey everybody, Tim here with tonight's episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 1, Episode 12, Battle Lines. I actually really liked this episode. I thought it was pretty interesting. So, to be honest, by the time it got to the end, it had kind of started to drag a little bit for me, but for the most part, I thought it was really interesting. So, Kai Opaka shows up, which I think the only time we've seen her was in the pilot episode, and she was the one that was kind of talking to Sisko about, like, destiny and the prophets and stuff like that. So she gets to Deep Space Nine, and they mention how she's never left the planet Bajor before. So this is her first time being on the space station, first time seeing the wormhole, first time for everything. And she kind of implies that she wants to go through it. And so Sisko, like, feeling like he owes this woman, decides to go ahead and do it. So Sisko, Kira, and the Kai get on board a runabout, and they go through the wormhole, and it's pretty awesome. And Sisko kind of talks about it, how it's 70,000 light years into the Gamma Quadrant. And he says, with their fastest starship, it would take 67 years for them to come back. Or to make that distance travel, which is interesting because I'm not sure if they had planned on Voyager this early into Deep Space Nine yet, but that's the entire plot of Voyager right there, is what Sisko was talking to the Kai about on the way. So it's pretty interesting. Now, the runabout ends up crashing onto, like, this planet or moon or whatever, and Kai Opaka dies. And it's kind of a sad moment. To be honest, like, Kira was a little bit heavy on the acting. I'm not gonna lie. It was just a little tiny bit heavy for me. But it is a very sad moment. To me, because we've only seen the Kai one time before this, like, I wasn't too heartbroken over it. I understand, like, it was supposed to be this important character, but I was just like, oh, that's sad. Next. So they get rescued by this group of people who talk about how they've been at war for a very, very long time, and there's no signs of stopping it. And while they're talking, Kai Opaka shows up. Just to jump to the end of the episode, it turns out that there's, like, these nanobites that are on this planet, and these people were sent here as a punishment. And anytime they're, like, wounded or killed or anything like that, it revives them and it regenerates their bodies with this nanotech. And so it's kind of interesting, and Sisko's like, no, we're putting a stop to this, we're taking them off the planet, like, there's no way this is going to happen. And so it turns out that it's a step further, where not as soon as somebody is healed by this nanotech, they're no longer allowed to leave the planet. And if they try to, they completely die for real, and there's no way to revive them. So now the Kai has to stay on the planet. So it's kind of sad because we're losing this character. But for me, I mean, we're 12 episodes, and this is only the second time we've seen her, so I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't really that heartbroken. Maybe I'm heartless, I don't know. Overall, I felt like the plot of this was really interesting, that these people are punished by having to relive this war. And we see that where they start battling and, like, almost everybody dies, and then the next day they basically just pop back up and just do it over again. So it's like Groundhog's Day meets Game of Thrones or something. So overall, I thought it was a good episode. I thought it was an interesting episode. It's a season 1 episode. It could have been done a little bit better. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something similar redone later on. But so for those who have seen this one, what did you guys think of the Kai? Were you sad that this was her last appearance, or this is the last time we see her? So go ahead, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching all the videos, and I will see you guys next time for The Storyteller.